What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today I've got the last episode in the series of how I produce my videos, kind of a behind the scenes look. I showed you guys the gear, the camera bag, and if you guys missed those videos, check the links down below, and I'm also going to be leaving a link to all the products I use as well. But today's video is going to be more of a behind the scenes, start to finish in terms of the process when it comes to planning, filming, editing of an entire episode. If you guys want to see some more behind the scenes videos in the future, just make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a comment down below as to what you want to see me cover next. But the first thing that we do when it comes to every video is planning. So a lot of the things that go on with YouTube videos is completely behind the scenes. Each episode isn't exactly just taking out a product and making a video about it. It comes to a lot of planning, researching, testing, and a lot of product curation, seeing which product is best for the episode or theme that we're going for. So the planning phase, of course, starts with an idea for a video, something that I might be very passionate about, something I wish I would have known. The back to school stuff in the past has been very applicable and stuff that I probably would have watched, as well as the room tours. But after that comes a product curation process, which involves picking products that I've currently used, learning more about them and their full capabilities. But of course, also talking to sponsors and companies that might want to work together for that video and also give me some ability to do some creative things, improve some of the things in the setup, and also purchase new camera equipment to make some better videos. Living in Canada, one of the biggest pains is waiting for products to come. It obviously does take a little bit longer, and I also live on an island. So by the time all the products come, I've already had the entire episode planned out when it comes to notes, just information about the products, what I want to talk about and cover, and oftentimes also a list of things that I want to film for sure. Even though the channel is at a decent size, I don't currently have a manager, and I actually really enjoy doing the behind the scenes business side of things. I did go to business school for 3 years and essentially have been running businesses since I was about 12 or 13. So the behind the scenes stuff and the management side is something that I really enjoy doing, but it definitely does keep me very busy. When it comes to filming a video, this is probably the thing that I get the most questions about, and since I've been making videos for like 7 years now, it almost has become second nature, and a lot of changes have definitely gone on over the years, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't exactly realize all of them because it's kind of just an ongoing process. Like I said, I did cover a video fully about my equipment and why I picked it, so make sure you guys go ahead and check that out as well. But when it comes to filming a video, essentially it is just making sure I have all of the gear together that I'm currently using. So of course the microphone is very important, and my main setup at the moment is using synced audio. So in order to have better audio quality, I have a dedicated microphone right here, and the one I'm currently testing is the Rode NTG3. It also comes in silver and black, has a windscreen if you're using it outdoors, and also a very nice hard metal carry case that you don't see included with many microphones. And I pair that up with a Zoom H5 recorder, which essentially has the audio recorded to an SD card in here, and I sync it up with the camera to have the best sound quality. Of course, I do have some other audio setups such as the Rode VideoMic Pro, which would live on top of the camera, and in that case, I'm able to just plug it in and record audio straight off the camera, but a lot of times I'm not that close to the camera, so it's better to have the best audio quality with a microphone that is mounted right above me. I do try to use natural light as much as possible, especially during the summer, and although I do live in a place that rains a lot, right now the sunlight has been really good, so I've really tried to take advantage of that. But my light that I carry around with me, despite it being so big, is the Aperture 120D. This is a daylight light that is very nicely diffused. It's also a very soft light, which is nice for products and especially for portrait. This light is literally 2 feet away from me, but it does diffuse very nicely, giving it a nice natural look. But above all of your camera gear, lighting is absolutely the most important part of your gear arsenal, because you can use a smartphone even to record your videos if you have good daylight lighting, especially outdoors. I think when it comes to using cameras, fundamentals are things that can be figured out right away, and a lot of times that is probably the easiest part of the process, but what is hardest is being able to film in different environments when it comes to lighting, colors, getting the feel you want, and just trying to get a consistent look with your videos. One place I learned a lot about cameras and filmmaking in general was Skillshare, and on there's thousands of video and photo courses for you, which allows you to not only learn the basics of your camera, but be able to make the most of it and become the best filmmaker that you can with what you have. I think the best part about it, especially for someone like myself, is I'm able to really pick and choose what aspects of filmmaking that I want to get better at, as opposed to sitting through an entire long course. They've really divided that well, and I've learned a lot just from using Skillshare. The first 500 people who sign up will get a free 2-month trial by using the coupon code that is on screen and linked down in the description section below. I personally love using Skillshare, and I'd like to thank them for sponsoring this video. Some of the other small tips that I might have when it comes to product videography, because that is primarily what I do, is to have diffusers. So these are things that you can get on Amazon for like 18 bucks. And no matter how nice of a camera that you have, if you have some really horrible, harsh reflections on your product, if it's glass, for example, like the iPhone 10, then a diffuser shield, by putting it where you need it to be, will allow you to have a nice clean reflection that goes off the back of a reflective device. I think having a nice big white or black cardboard sheet is very important as well, because oftentimes the diffuser might not exactly be able to get the look that you want it to. So certain products might look better with a black piece of cardboard over it to give it that nice clean and consistent black look, while others might look better with the white. Pair that up with good lighting and you've got yourself a setup that is overall pretty economical and can work with pretty much every camera that you want to use. Another very important tool that is often overlooked is air compressors. So these are things that are very overpriced for what they are. I never understand why they cost so much. And especially if you're doing those macro shots of a product, people can definitely tell, and that is something that I try to use a lot, but you guys might have noticed here and there, I have forgotten my compressor can and gotten a bit lazy. So you might have noticed some dust on some products, and I'm really sorry about that. So now moving on to video editing, and this is probably the part of the process that I personally enjoy a little bit more, because I'm always stressed out about filming and whether or not the footage turned out the way I liked it to. So editing allows me to just sit down and have control over the footage, and it does often scare me because I'm looking at the clips that I shot for the very first time. The software that I've been using for the past like 5 or 6 years now is Final Cut Pro 10, and I personally really love it. I think with all the plugins that are available, such as Motion VFX, My Final Cut Pro Effects, Color Finale, it gives me all of the tools that I might need to produce a video the way I would like to. Motion track text is covered. I'm able to easily correct the colors and install a LUT that I might need. So though I know a lot of people in the industry use Premiere, I personally really like Final Cut, and I'm also a big fan of the Mac setup and the Mac ecosystem, so I really have no plans to switch anytime soon. When it comes to video editing, the first thing that I do is drop all of my clips into the timeline, and I start to cut them right away after I synced it up with my audio, which is the SD card from my microphone. After that, I begin to lay all the B-roll on top of my clips, and I cut them at the beginning and end, because you might have like the camera shake in the beginning or the end where you might have pressed a record button or something, or adjusted something on the camera. And after that, I start to place the B-roll over all of the mess ups that I had in my A-roll. That way you guys don't see these weird transition chops here and there. The next step is I add some of the movements that I want in my videos, whether it's motion track text, and the very last step that I do to my B-roll is color correction. I don't know what other people do, but this kind of process has been what I've been doing for the past few years. I tend to leave color correction to the very last step. Another tip that I have out there is to sleep on your videos. So you edited the night before, I'd say go to sleep and look at it the next morning and see if your opinion on your colors or the edit has changed. A lot of times this is a very good way to find any errors you might have had in your video, or even a creative thing that you might want to improve. After adding some of the transitions that I might want, the last thing that I do is sound. So music is probably the most annoying thing about doing YouTube videos because of copyright, finding something that works, finding something that probably hasn't been used by Casey Neistat at some point, which he does a very good job at picking good songs. And a lot of times I get a lot of inspiration from that, and I find some good tracks that he might have used from an artist. So I find myself using SoundCloud a lot, but also Epidemic Sound, because that stuff is royalty free. Really, the only disadvantage from using royalty-free sites is chances are if you picked a good song, it's already been used before. After exporting the video, it's time to upload, and of course the thumbnail is a very important part of my videos, so I try to always have a very nice thumbnail, but I often do struggle with something that is fresh or exciting for you guys to see. Lately I've been doing a ton of flat lays, as you guys might have noticed, and I've been a pretty big fan of that. I think it looks really clean, it looks really cool, and I just really like to pick products that overall will fit well in a theme of an overhead thumbnail. I take the photos myself, but I often do send them off to my photo editor Gio, who does a great job with product photo, and I've actually had him edit a lot of the thumbnails over the past year. The first thing I normally do when I get to the end of the video is the end card, and that is where you guys are able to see what videos you should check out next that I might have recommended. I also add some cards to the videos, and of course I also do the title, the links, and the tagging, and for the links I use Amazon, which pretty much every YouTuber uses because it doesn't cost you guys anything, but by buying from the links, you're supporting your favorite creator. I feel like I've been talking for a really long time, and although this process might sound a lot more complicated than it actually is, I really wanted to just break things apart for myself and for you guys to kind of figure out what parts really go into making a YouTube video from start to finish. I try to upload anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week. I'm pretty inconsistent with that because obviously some videos take longer than others, and I really want to make them a bit more exciting than they were before. But I really think the hardest part is just jumping into things and getting started, but I think once you get into that routine and habit, it becomes second nature as it has now, and I think now the biggest fight is to get a video out as consistently as possible because I feel like I'm often tackling like 5 videos at a time. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below as to what you think and how I can improve my process, and I'll see you all in the next one.